It was a clear day when the unexpected happened. Humanity had been looking to the stars for centuries, wondering if they were alone in the vast expanse of the universe. Astronomers, scientists, and curious minds all gazed up at the sky, hoping for a sign. They got something far beyond their wildest dreams or their worst fears. It began with a flash. At first, people thought it was a comet, a meteorite, or maybe even some strange weather phenomenon. But the object didn't burn up as it entered Earth's atmosphere. Instead, it slowed, hovering above the planet, as if it had been waiting for the right moment to make itself known. Across the world, nations scrambled to respond. Satellites were repositioned, and military forces took to the skies. Yet no one had any idea what they were dealing with. The object seemed harmless at first, but its appearance was unlike anything anyone had ever seen. Shaped like a massive disk, it was smooth and gleamed under the sun's light. For hours, it hovered silently above Earth's major cities, and the world held its breath. Then the message came. It was broadcasted on every television, radio, and communication device. A calm voice spoke in perfect English, though no one could figure out how the message had been transmitted. It was as though the voice knew every language in the world. The voice, robotic yet soothing, told the people of Earth that the time for contact had arrived. "We have been watching you, humans. Your time is now." Confusion spread across the globe. Was this a joke? Was it a hoax? But as the voice continued, it became clear that this was no ordinary event. The voice spoke of civilizations across the galaxy, of technology that could bend the laws of physics, and of a history far older than Earth's. The voice said that the universe was about to enter a new age, one where Earth would play a pivotal role. Despite the word's mysteriousness, something felt undeniably real about it. The object in the sky remained still, its surface gleaming like metal yet almost liquid in its smoothness. People from every corner of the world had turned their eyes upward, some with fear, others with wonder. It was the first moment humanity realized they were not alone. Governments moved quickly. The United Nations convened an emergency meeting. Leaders from every country gathered to discuss the next steps. No one had answers, and no one knew what to expect, but they knew they had to act. The President of the United States addressed the nation, speaking directly to the people. "My fellow citizens," the President began, her voice calm but firm, "today marks the beginning of something extraordinary. We don't know what it means yet, but we will face this challenge together. We are strong, and we will be ready for whatever comes next." As the world watched, scientists scrambled to analyze the data. What was this? Was it truly an alien ship? How did it speak so fluently in every language? What did this mean for the future of Earth? The questions were endless, and the answers were elusive. Hours passed without incident, and then something even more unexpected happened. The object began to lower, descending slowly towards the Earth. People everywhere stared in disbelief, unsure of whether they should be afraid or amazed. Military jets were dispatched, but the object made no hostile moves. It simply floated downward, landing with a soft thud in the middle of the Nevada desert. The world's attention shifted instantly. News crews rushed to the scene. They set up camp at a safe distance, their cameras zooming in on the spot where the mysterious object had landed. The alien ship, or whatever it was, stood eerily still, its surface reflecting the sunlight as though it were a mirror. No one dared to get too close. The air was filled with tension and anticipation. The world held its breath. Then the ship did something strange. From its surface, a large door slowly opened, and a ramp extended down to the ground. The soft, mechanical hum filled the air as a figure emerged from within. It was tall, humanoid in shape, but unlike anything humanity had ever seen. Its skin was a shimmering metallic silver, its eyes black, and its face had no discernible expression. An eerie and emotionless mask that made it seem more like a machine than a living being. For a moment, there was only silence. The figure took a step forward, and then another, moving with a grace and fluidity that was almost inhuman. It did not speak at first, only staring at the crowd of humans who had gathered from miles around. The silence was unbearable. People stood frozen, unsure of what to do. Then, it spoke in the same calm voice that had addressed the world earlier. "We are the Tulare. We have come to meet you." The voice was not harsh, nor was it welcoming. It simply was. It was as though the words held more weight than any human could comprehend. The crowd, still in shock, barely moved. The first alien contact had been made. But what did it mean? What was the purpose of this encounter? Was it an invasion, a peaceful visit, or was there something else entirely? The Tulare didn't wait for questions. Instead, they raised their hand, and a strange light glowed from their palm, casting a soft but intense glow across the desert. A sudden sense of calm washed over the crowd, and the tension that had built up melted away. For the first time in hours, people began to breathe again. "We know you have many questions," the Tulare said, their voice soft and almost soothing. "But now is not the time for answers. The time for understanding will come. For now, we will leave you with this message. Your world is changing. You are part of a much larger universe now. Prepare yourselves." And with that, the alien turned, walking back into the ship. The ramp retracted, and the door sealed shut with a hiss. The ship remained on the ground for several more moments before it lifted, slowly but steadily, and ascended into the sky. The world was left in stunned silence, the reality of what had just occurred sinking in. The first contact with an alien species had taken place, and Earth was no longer the same. The age of human isolation was over. The universe had opened its doors, and humanity would never look at the stars the same way again. The days that followed the first contact were filled with confusion, excitement, and a growing sense of anticipation. Humanity had just been thrust into the galactic spotlight, and no one was sure what the future would hold. The Tulare had left Earth's atmosphere, but their presence lingered, a constant reminder that everything had changed. At first, it was a worldwide frenzy. News stations around the globe covered the event nonstop. Scientists analyzed every piece of data they had gathered, and governments held urgent meetings behind closed doors. World leaders knew that this encounter, though peaceful so far, was the beginning of something far greater than anything they had ever prepared for. The world's population was left in a state of awe, but there was also fear. What did the Tulare want? Why had they come to Earth? What did they mean by "your world is changing"? The questions were endless, and answers were few. On the streets, in homes, and in classrooms, people were talking about the event. Social media exploded with discussions, theories, and speculation. Many believed that this was the beginning of Earth's ascension to a larger galactic community, while others worried about the hidden motives of the Tulare. Governments tried to assure the public that they were in control, but the uncertainty only seemed to grow. In the halls of power, the reaction was more measured. President Rivera, who had addressed the nation in the immediate aftermath of the first contact, convened a special council of the world's most powerful nations. The aim was to formulate a unified response. The Tulare had made it clear that they were watching Earth, but they had not revealed their full intentions. Were they allies, or was this the beginning of something darker? The world's military forces were put on high alert, though there was no indication of immediate danger. Nations worked together to monitor any new developments from space, trying to predict the next move of the mysterious species. But for all the preparation, no one could have predicted what came next. One evening, just as the sun dipped below the horizon, the sky above Earth rippled with strange light. It wasn't a flash this time, nor was it the smooth, metallic hum of the Tulare's ship. This time, it was a chaotic burst of energy, pulsating across the sky in a way that defied the laws of physics. It lasted only a few seconds, but it was enough to send shockwaves through the world's communication systems. Across the planet, people paused what they were doing and looked to the skies, wondering what was happening. Scientists scrambled to make sense of the anomaly. while world leaders began to consult with one another in frantic meetings. Within hours, it was clear that the burst of energy was no accident. It was an intentional signal, one that came from a distant source. The T-Lure had returned. This time, however, they weren't alone. The first signs of new ships appeared on the horizon, their forms unlike anything humanity had ever seen. These ships were massive, dwarfing the T-Lure's craft, and they emitted an eerie, pulsing glow as they descended towards Earth. The size of the ships alone was enough to send a ripple of fear through humanity. It was one thing to meet an alien species, it was another to face an entire fleet. The ships settled into Earth's orbit, surrounding the planet like a ring of stars. They didn't land, but their presence was overwhelming. They didn't speak, and they didn't communicate. They simply hovered, waiting. The T-Lure, who had remained silent for the past few days, finally spoke again. Their voice resonated through every communication channel, once again reaching every corner of the Earth. But this time, their words were different. "Do not be afraid," the T-Lure's voice echoed. "The fleet you see above is a part of a greater alliance. We are not here to conquer. We are here to offer you a choice." The choice was simple, but it sent waves of uncertainty through the global population. The T-Lure offered humanity an invitation to join their alliance, a coalition of species that spanned the galaxy. The alliance was said to include hundreds of civilizations, each with their own unique cultures, technologies, and histories. The T-Lure promised that Earth could be part of something greater, a chance to explore the stars, to learn from the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy. But there was a catch. "The alliance is not for everyone," the T-Lure continued. "To join, you must prove your worth. Your planet has a choice: accept the invitation, or remain as you are. Those who join will be granted the knowledge and power to stand among the stars. But there is no turning back." The world was silent as the T-Lure's message ended. For a moment, there was only the sound of hushed voices, the weight of the decision pressing down on every human on Earth. The choice wasn't just about space exploration or joining an alliance. It was about the future of humanity itself. The immediate reaction was a mix of excitement and fear. Some saw the offer as an incredible opportunity, an invitation to join the galaxy's most advanced civilizations. Others saw it as a potential trap, a test to see if humanity was ready for such power. The idea of being thrust into an intergalactic community was thrilling, but the unknowns were terrifying. Nations began to debate. Would they accept the T-Lure's offer or reject it? Could humanity be trusted with such immense power? Were they ready to face the responsibilities that came with joining an intergalactic alliance? The United Nations convened once more, bringing together the world's leaders to discuss the next steps. But the decision was far from simple. Every country had a different view of the T-Lure's message. Some believed it was a sign of a new era for humanity, while others feared the unknown consequences. As debates raged, one thing became clear: Earth was no longer just a small planet in the corner of the Milky Way. The invitation from the T-Lure had changed everything. Humanity now stood at a crossroads, with a future that could lead to unimaginable heights or perhaps unimaginable dangers. And so, the world waited, holding its breath as the stars watched silently above. The choice was theirs to make, and whatever they decided, it would change everything. As the massive fleet of ships continued to hover in Earth's orbit, the world held its breath. The T-Lure had left humanity with a choice, one that carried immense weight. The decision to join the Galactic Alliance was not one that could be made lightly. Every nation, every leader, every individual had to reckon with what it meant to be a part of something much larger than themselves. The first reaction to the T-Lure's offer was excitement. News outlets all over the world were filled with stories of how Earth could soon be part of an intergalactic community. Children dreamed of space adventures, while scientists imagined the knowledge they could acquire from the galaxy's most advanced civilizations. People began to imagine the possibilities: new technologies, cures for diseases, travel to distant stars. It was the stuff of science fiction, but now it was becoming a reality. However, not everyone shared the same enthusiasm. The offer, while tempting, also sparked fear and uncertainty. Earth's leaders were faced with the daunting question: what would happen if humanity made the wrong choice? Could they handle the power and responsibility that came with being part of an intergalactic alliance? What would be the consequences of rejecting the offer? In the United States, President Rivera convened an emergency session of the National Security Council. Military leaders, intelligence agencies, and scientists were all brought together to weigh in on the decision. The president knew that this was a turning point in history. Whatever path they chose would shape the future of humanity for centuries to come. Do we really understand what we're dealing with? One of the military generals asked, his voice filled with concern. The Tillers say they're not here to conquer, but we don't know their true intentions. We've only seen a small fraction of their power. If we accept their offer, we could be walking into something dangerous. I agree, another council member said. Humanity's history is full of examples where power was given, but the cost was higher than expected. We need to be cautious. Meanwhile, across the ocean in Europe, the leaders of the European Union were also grappling with the dilemma. In Brussels, a high-level meeting was convened to discuss the Tillers' offer. Chancellor Reinhardt of Germany spoke passionately in favor of accepting the invitation. This is humanity's chance to rise above the petty divisions of nations. We can join the galaxy's most advanced civilizations and secure a better future for our children. We must not let fear hold us back. However, French President Isabelle Dubois was less convinced. We must be careful not to rush into something we don't fully understand. The Tillers have said they want to see if we're worthy of joining their alliance. What does that mean? What are they testing us for? We don't know what lies beyond their offer. In Asia, Prime Minister Li of China expressed similar concerns. The Tillers have shown us nothing but their power. They say we have a choice, but do we really? What happens if we refuse them? What if there are consequences we can't predict? As the days passed, the debate grew more intense. The decision wasn't just about what was best for one nation. It was about what was best for the entire planet. Countries with large military powers, like Russia and China, were hesitant to give up any autonomy, especially if it meant placing their fate in the hands of a galactic alliance. Meanwhile, smaller nations, like those in Africa and South America, saw this as an unprecedented opportunity to boost their standing on the world stage. They argued that this could level the playing field and provide the resources and support they had never had before. The United Nations convened to discuss the offer on a global scale. The world watched closely as representatives from every nation gathered to share their thoughts. Some were eager to join the Tillers and explore the stars, while others insisted that humanity should remain independent and avoid becoming pawns in a galactic game they didn't understand. It's a matter of survival, said the representative from Brazil. If we refuse their offer, what happens next? Do we become targets for the rest of the galaxy's powers, or do we join them and hope that we can hold our own? As the debate continued, Earth's most brilliant minds were asked to weigh in. Leading scientists, physicists, and technologists from around the world gathered to discuss the practical implications of joining the alliance. Dr. Maria Reis, a leading expert in astrophysics, cautioned against the unknown risks. We don't even know the full extent of their technology, Dr. Reis warned. What if they've offered us something that we're not ready for? The Tillers may have peaceful intentions, but what if the alliance has more enemies than allies? What if the galactic community is not as friendly as we hope? Despite the concerns, there was a prevailing sense that the offer was too good to pass up. Many saw it as an opportunity to advance beyond the limitations of Earth. With the Tillers' help, humanity could leapfrog centuries of technological advancement in mere decades. The prospect of curing diseases, solving energy crises, and understanding the cosmos in ways that had been impossible just a few years ago was tantalizing. In the streets, public opinion was divided. Protesters gathered outside government buildings, waving banners that read, "Say no to the Tillers," while others shouted, "Join the stars." The media played a crucial role in shaping the narrative, with debates and discussions aired on every major network. Social media platforms became battlegrounds, with people arguing over the merits and dangers of joining the Galactic Alliance. As the debate raged on, Earth's leaders knew that time was running out. The T-Lar had given humanity a limited window to make their decision. They had asked for an answer, and soon. The world had never faced a choice like this before. The future of humanity was at stake, and whichever path they chose would define them for generations. Would they join the stars or remain on Earth, waiting for the unknown? The answer was coming soon, and the world was holding its breath, waiting for the moment that would change everything. The clock was ticking. Humanity had been given a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and now the world was waiting with bated breath for the final decision. The T-Lar's deadline was fast approaching, and every country, every leader, and every citizen was feeling the weight of the moment. It wasn't just about Earth's future, it was about the future of every living person on the planet. In the United States, President Rivera sat in the Oval Office, the weight of the decision pressing down on her like never before. She had been receiving briefings around the clock, every world leader and expert providing their insights. But no matter how much information she had, no matter how many reports she read, one question remained: what was the right choice? Her advisors gathered around the long table in the war room. A team of military officials, scientists, and diplomats sat across from one another, awaiting her final verdict. She had heard the arguments for and against. The risks were clear, but so were the rewards. Joining the T-Lar meant a future of unparalleled advancement, but it also meant stepping into a galaxy filled with unknowns. Rejection could mean leaving Earth vulnerable to forces beyond their comprehension. But what if the T-Lar weren't as benevolent as they claimed? "We can't ignore the reality," said General Hayes, the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. "If we refuse, we could find ourselves alone in the galaxy, vulnerable to anyone who might come next. The T-Lar may be peaceful, but what about the rest of the galaxy? The galaxy is a dangerous place, and if we're going to survive, we need to be part of it." "But we don't know who else is out there," countered Dr. Maria Reyes, an astrophysicist who had been advising the government on matters of space exploration. "What if the T-Lar aren't as trustworthy as they appear? What if we're walking into something we can't escape from?" President Rivera stared out the window of the Oval Office. She could hear the sounds of protesters outside the gates. Some wanted to join the T-Lar, others wanted to resist. The nation was divided, and the weight of that division was something she could feel in her bones. She had to make the decision that was right for all of Earth. In the United Kingdom, Prime Minister Richards was facing the same pressure. The British Parliament had been in constant session, discussing the pros and cons of accepting the T-Lar's offer. After days of heated debate, a vote was scheduled to determine whether or not to join the Galactic Alliance. "We must not act out of fear," Prime Minister Richards said in his speech to Parliament. "The T-Lar have shown us nothing but kindness, and they've offered us a future that no human has ever dreamed of. Yes, there are risks, but what if we turn our backs on this opportunity? We would be denying ourselves a future beyond our wildest imagination." But not all members of Parliament were convinced. "We don't even understand what they truly want," said opposition leader Sarah Mallory. "The T-Lar could have hidden motives. We're taking a huge leap into the unknown. If they truly wanted peace, why haven't they explained more about what they expect from us? We're not ready to gamble with the future of our children." In Asia, tensions were just as high. China's President Lai was cautious. His government had been focusing on maintaining Earth's independence and strength, and there was concern that joining a galactic alliance might weaken Earth's position. His advisors urged him to wait, to gather more information before making a decision. "Humanity has survived on its own for centuries," President Lai stated. "Why should we give up our autonomy now? If the T-Lar are truly as powerful as they seem, shouldn't we wait and see what others in the galaxy think of their offer? We don't know what else is out there." Across the world, Leaders were faced with the same questions, the same dilemmas. Earth had never been faced with a choice like this before. The idea of joining a galactic alliance was both exciting and terrifying. The future of humanity and the entire planet was at stake. The clock continued to tick. Back at the United Nations, a final meeting was scheduled. Leaders from every nation were gathered in New York, ready to make the choice that would determine Earth's future. The United Nations General Assembly had been in session for hours, but there was still no consensus. A vote was about to take place, and the world was watching. The tension in the room was palpable. For the first time in history, every nation was about to make a decision together that could change the course of humanity. Earth's leaders were aware that history would remember this moment. "Are we ready to make history?" asked the UN Secretary-General, his voice steady but laced with concern. President Rivera stood up, her voice clear and unwavering. "We stand at the crossroads of a new era. We've been given a choice, one that will define our future. We can step into the unknown, join the stars, and become something greater than we ever imagined. Or we can hold back and risk losing everything." The room fell silent as every representative waited for the final decision. For a moment, it felt like the entire world held its breath. Finally, with a deep breath, President Rivera spoke the words that would change everything. "We accept." The decision had been made. Humanity had chosen to embrace the galaxy and step into a new era. The Tellur's offer had been accepted, and the countdown to the future had begun. But no one knew what was truly waiting for them in the stars. The decision had been made, and Earth's future had changed in the blink of an eye. The world's leaders, after days of tense negotiations and sleepless nights, had agreed to the Tellur's offer. Humanity was now officially part of a galactic alliance. The news spread like wildfire, reaching every corner of the Earth, from the bustling cities to the quietest villages. People gathered in public squares, watching the announcement on their screens, both nervous and excited about what the future would hold. President Rivera addressed the world with a calm, yet hopeful demeanor. "We have made history today," she began, her voice strong and clear. "Humanity is no longer just a single species on a single planet. We have become part of something much bigger, part of the galactic community. But with this new power comes great responsibility. The stars are no longer distant and unreachable. They are our new frontier, and it is up to us to navigate them wisely." As her words echoed across the world, the first wave of Tellur representatives arrived on Earth. Their ships descended from the sky, a dazzling sight that left people in awe. Their technology was unlike anything humanity had ever seen. Massive ships, sleek and elegant, landed gently on the Earth's surface, creating ripples in the air that made the ground hum with energy. The Tellur had kept their promise, and now the time had come to begin. Humans gathered in every major city, staring up at the skies in disbelief. The streets were filled with people from all walks of life: scientists, soldiers, engineers, politicians, and everyday citizens, each one wondering what would happen next. The Tellur had promised knowledge and technology, but what else lay in store for Earth? The first contact was overwhelmingly peaceful. The Tellur leaders, dressed in shimmering robes that glowed with an ethereal light, stepped out of their ships with a grace and confidence that spoke of centuries of advanced civilization. They smiled as they made their way to the waiting officials, offering gifts and words of peace. Their language, though strange at first, was easily translated through a device the Tellur had brought with them. It was as though they had anticipated every question, every fear, every hesitation. "We are here to guide you." The Tellur ambassador spoke, his voice soothing yet powerful. "You have shown courage in accepting our invitation. Together, we will build a new future, one where knowledge and peace thrive." The humans, still in shock, exchanged uncertain glances. They had just agreed to join a galactic community that spanned the stars. What did that even mean? Was the galaxy truly as peaceful as the Tellur claimed, Or were they walking into a web of politics, power struggles, and alien conflicts? The first task the Telar set for Earth was simple yet profound: understanding. Earth's leaders were given the opportunity to explore the Telar's vast network of knowledge. Humanity had barely begun to grasp the extent of their scientific achievements, but now, through their new alliance, it was all laid before them. They were given access to data streams, holographic libraries, and technology that could change life on Earth forever. Dr. Maria Reyes, one of Earth's leading scientists, was one of the first to dive into the Telar's trove of knowledge. She was astounded by what she found. The Telar had mapped the entire galaxy, cataloged species, and developed technologies that allowed them to manipulate space-time itself. It was as if humanity had been stuck in the Dark Ages, waiting for a light to guide them out. Yet, as humans began to uncover the wonders of the Telar's knowledge, a sense of unease started to creep in. There were questions that hadn't been answered. Why had the Telar chosen humanity? Why had they been given the opportunity when other civilizations had been left out? It was clear that the Telar had been observing Earth for a long time. But what had they seen in humanity that made them so confident in offering their alliance? The first meeting between Earth's scientific community and the Telar's top researchers was held in a sprawling conference hall. Telar scientists, their appearance sleek and almost otherworldly, showed humans the complex systems of galactic navigation, energy manipulation, and biological engineering. As Earth's top minds absorbed the knowledge, they felt a mix of awe and fear. Was this too much too soon? The Telar seemed eager to help, but was there a hidden agenda? In private discussions, President Rivera and her advisors debated the next steps. Some believed that humanity should embrace the Telar's offers fully, trusting that the advanced civilization would guide them to greatness. Others, however, argued that they needed to remain cautious. The Telar had already shown their power and influence, but could they truly trust an alien race that had been watching them from afar for so long? Meanwhile, the rest of the world watched from the sidelines. People flooded social media with questions and excitement. Some were thrilled at the idea of joining the galactic community, while others feared what it meant for Earth's future. Protests broke out in some cities, with groups arguing that humanity should have kept its independence. Would the galaxy be a place of peace and prosperity, or was it a dangerous place filled with hidden threats? Despite these concerns, the excitement of the unknown outweighed the fear. The idea of becoming part of a larger, more advanced galaxy was tantalizing. People began to imagine a future where humanity would no longer be confined to Earth, where exploration and discovery could lead to endless possibilities. The thought of traveling to distant stars, of encountering new alien species, and of harnessing the power of advanced technologies was a dream come true for many. But no one could deny that the galaxy was a vast, mysterious place. As the Telar began their first lessons in galactic diplomacy and science, humanity stood on the precipice of something truly extraordinary. What would the next steps be? What challenges lay ahead? And most importantly, what kind of future would humanity choose for itself now that the stars were within reach? The first steps into the unknown had been taken, and Earth's destiny was now intertwined with the galaxy in ways no one could have imagined. The initial excitement of Earth's new position in the galactic community began to settle into something deeper, something far more complicated. As Earth's leaders continued to meet with the Telar and their allies, they realized that what seemed like a peaceful alliance was, in fact, a series of delicate balances. Humanity had joined an intricate web of intergalactic politics, where every action could have far-reaching consequences. President Rivera's team met regularly with Telar diplomats and researchers, who introduced Earth to the Galactic Council. The Council was a body of powerful species from across the galaxy, each with its own agendas, goals, and methods. The Telar, it seemed, were not the only ones who had been keeping an eye on Earth. Other galactic powers had been watching too, albeit with different motivations. It didn't take long for the humans to realize that not all members of the Galactic Council were as benevolent as the Telar. Some were far more secretive, their intentions unclear. Earth's place in the galaxy was not secure, and there were those who wanted to see it fail, perhaps out of fear, perhaps out of envy, or perhaps because they saw humans as a threat. As Earth's scientific and technological potential began to emerge, other civilizations grew wary of the new player in the galactic game. Humanity's role in this vast network of alliances and rivalries was still uncertain. Some on Earth felt the T-Lar were pushing them too quickly into galactic politics, wanting to use humanity as pawns in a much larger game. Others argued that this was humanity's moment to prove its worth, to show the galaxy that they had more to offer than just raw ambition. As the weeks passed, the first true test of Earth's resolve came in the form of the Glothari, a fierce and unpredictable species known for their territorial aggression. The Glothari had long been a part of the Galactic Council, but their presence was a constant source of tension. The T-Lar had warned Earth that the Glothari were particularly interested in testing the newest member of the Council, eager to see how Earth would react to its newfound power. When the Glothari delegation arrived on Earth, their appearance was striking. They were towering beings with scaled skin that shimmered like molten metal, their eyes glowing with a dangerous intensity. Their arrival was not marked by the peaceful gestures the T-Lar had demonstrated. Instead, they made their entrance with an air of dominance, as if claiming Earth as a piece of territory in the galactic game. President Rivera and her advisors were on edge. The T-Lar had advised caution, explaining that the Glothari respected strength, but their version of respect was far more brutal. Earth would need to prove that it could hold its own on the galactic stage, that humanity was not to be underestimated. The Glothari's first move was a test of humanity's military strength. They requested a joint demonstration of power, claiming they wished to see if Earth could back up the technology it had gained from the T-Lar. President Rivera, despite her doubts, agreed. It was clear that turning down the request would only make Earth appear weak, but agreeing to the test would put humanity under intense scrutiny. The demonstration was set in the vast deserts of North Africa, a location chosen for its natural expanse. The Earth military, bolstered by T-Lar technology, stood ready. Tanks, fighters, and energy weapons hummed with power, all under the watchful eyes of thousands of cameras. The Glothari showed off their own formidable weaponry, their ships hovering in the sky like massive predators waiting to strike. The first move came when the Glothari unleashed a wave of energy pulses, cutting through the air like thunderclaps. The Earth military, with its new T-Lar weaponry, retaliated, sending blasts of energy that caused the ground to shake. For a moment, it felt like an actual war had broken out. But then something unexpected happened. Amidst the chaos of fire and destruction, a group of human soldiers, acting on instinct, began to perform maneuvers that no one had anticipated. They didn't simply respond to the Glothari's attack. They countered it in ways that surprised even the most seasoned generals. Their tactics were unpredictable, fast, and efficient, using terrain, strategy, and human ingenuity to their advantage. As the battle simulation unfolded, it became clear that the Glothari had underestimated humanity's resourcefulness. The Earth forces, though fewer in number, were able to match the Glothari's might with their ability to think outside the box. For every attack the Glothari launched, the humans had an answer the Glothari had not expected. When the exercise ended, the Glothari were silent. Their warriors stood still, watching the human forces with a mix of confusion and begrudging respect. They had never encountered a species that could adapt so quickly, that could turn the tide of a battle with mere creativity. President Rivera, standing alongside T-Lar diplomats, watched as the Glothari delegation processed the outcome. The tension was palpable, but as the Glothari began to retreat, there was an unspoken acknowledgement that humanity had passed their test. The Galactic Federation was changing its perception of Earth. The tiny blue planet that had once been on the fringes of galactic knowledge was now being watched more closely than ever. Humanity had shown that it was not to be taken lightly. It was a force to be reckoned with, not only because of its newfound technology, but because of its resilience, creativity, and determination. As the Earth leaders gathered to discuss the results of the exercise, they knew the road ahead would not be easy. The galaxy was vast, and new challenges would emerge, but humanity had made its mark. The first steps had been taken, and the galaxy would never be the same again. Humanity had just begun to understand its true potential in the cosmos, and already it had proven that it was not afraid of what lay ahead. The events of the past few weeks had changed everything. Earth had gone from a curious outsider to a respected and feared force in the galaxy. President Rivera stood before her council, reflecting on the challenges they had faced and the power they had gained. But the journey was far from over. Though the Glotheri had left Earth with a new respect for humanity, the larger question remained: what was next for Earth? The galaxy was vast and filled with both opportunity and danger. Humanity had proven itself in the most extreme of circumstances, but its true place in the galaxy was still uncertain. The Telar had been instrumental in guiding humanity to this point, but they were not the only power at play. The Galactic Federation was full of powerful species with their own agendas. Some of them had watched the battle simulation with approval, while others had viewed it with suspicion. Earth's actions had opened many eyes, and that was both a blessing and a curse. The leaders of Earth knew that they could not afford to sit back and enjoy their new status. They had to continue growing stronger, building alliances, and navigating the complex web of galactic politics. They had earned respect, but they still had to prove that they could be trusted. The Telar, for all their wisdom, were not the only ones who had been watching Earth's rise. Other species, too, had begun to take notice. Some saw Earth as a potential ally, while others saw it as a new threat. The next few years would be crucial as Earth learned to navigate its newfound position. President Rivera gathered her closest advisors. She had already begun to see the cracks in the galactic alliances. The Glotheri's aggressive testing had been a signal that not all species were happy with Earth's new status. Tensions were rising, and it would not take much for conflict to break out. But Rivera was not one to back down. She had watched her people fight for their place in the galaxy, and she knew they were ready for what was to come. The humans who had once been considered insignificant were now standing shoulder to shoulder with the most powerful civilizations in the galaxy. They had proven their strength, their resolve, and their ingenuity. And now they had to prove they could maintain that position. With the Glotheri on their watch, Earth's military had been further strengthened, and President Rivera saw an opportunity to turn this challenge into a new strength. The battle for Earth's future was not just about weapons or alliances. It was about the willingness to adapt, to grow, and to take risks when necessary. We are no longer just Earth, President Rivera addressed her council. We are a part of something much larger. The galaxy will test us in ways we can't yet imagine. But we have something they don't: our ability to think, to adapt, and to survive. We will not let them underestimate us. The council nodded, some with uncertainty, others with newfound confidence. The road ahead would not be easy, but the humans who had faced every challenge with determination were ready. They would build alliances where possible, prepare for conflicts where necessary, and continue to prove their worth to the galaxy. The Telar, meanwhile, had not stopped observing. Their alliance with humanity was still young, but they had shown their hand in helping Earth defend itself against the Glotheri. The next few years would be about proving that the Telar were more than just allies. They were partners. Their knowledge of the galaxy was vast, and humanity needed that guidance as it explored its role in the greater galactic community. But the Telar weren't the only ones who had taken notice. The silence from other parts of the galaxy was growing more deafening. Species that had once been distant now began to make their presence known. Some offered peaceful overtures, wanting to learn more about Earth's rapid development, while others watched with envy. The threat of war was always present, but it was no longer Earth's primary concern. Now, it was about forging its future, securing its place among the stars. Earth had a new role to play, and its decisions would shape the next era of the galaxy. The final test had yet to come, but President Rivera had no doubt that humanity was ready. The galaxy was vast, full of possibilities, but also full of dangers. But Earth had always been about facing the impossible and coming out stronger. This was no different. And so, with a deep breath, President Rivera looked out at the stars. The future of Earth, of humanity, was bright. There would be trials and tribulations, but the road ahead was theirs to forge. They had come from nothing. And now, they were among the stars. The galaxy would never be the same again. The adventure was just beginning.